Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is David and we're going to try yet again another video in a new locale, a different part of the house. One without a sump pump immediately behind me to see how the sound and the lighting quality go. And so we're going to continue our library tour now. It's been a little bit. I wanted to get back to this because I'm still only to the E's in the paperbacks. I've got a long ways to go to get to the end and I'd like to do that before the end of this year. What I do is every time I hold up 10 different books, such as this one, Harlan Ellison, Run for the Stars, as well as Jack Dan and Jack C. Haldeman, Echoes of Thunder. So this is a tour double. So I hold up 10 books. I read the stuff on the back, not only for my own benefit, because this will help me filter out whether or not I want to keep some of these books around, because some of them I got as part of lots. So they've never passed the filtering test as to whether or not I'm interested. So this is a way of giving them that, and I've just donated. The local library has a Friends of the Library sale coming up in about 2.5 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, about 2 weeks now. So I donated a good handful of books to them. I won't be able to go shop there, but I can at least help contribute. But it also will help you decide whether or not you're interested. So here we go. So for Run for the Stars, got this wonderful, all these nice, wonderful stickers on this beautiful used copy. But I can see here most of what it says up there. The Kaiban demolished Dield's world, and their armada was headed for Earth. All that stood in their way was a man on Dield's world named Benno Talent. About as lousy a candidate for hero as one could imagine. Junkie, looter, coward, betrayer. So the retreating Terran forces made him the last man on Dield's world. They surgically implanted a cataclysmic bomb in his body, turned him loose, and let the Kaiban hunt him down. See Benno run, run Benno, run like hell. That sounds pretty interesting. So for Echoes of Thunder, no man, Mohawk or white, walks the highest steel like John Stranger, the highest steel of all, space stations under construction in orbit above Earth. Conscripted by the mega corporations, unsure of ever seeing his tribe again, Stranger maintains his people's ancient way, but can the thunder beings of his forefathers save him for the next great intercorporate war? So this is an original tale of Indian magic and high orbital intrigue. So that's Echoes of Thunder. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty interesting to me. Also, let me know how the sound sounds. Is it better or worse? So, we have again Dangerous Visions, compiled by Harlan Ellison as an editor. In December of last year, I read Dangerous Visions and was underwhelmed for most of it. I'm hoping that, again, Dangerous Visions holds up a little bit better. So we have in here, let's see if there's any stories I recognize in here. The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. I have it on good authority from several people that may be a Le Guin that I actually enjoy. So far, her short stories and longer stuff, apart from Earthsea, have been overwhelmingly meh. Got something from Gene Wolfe. I've read nothing by Gene Wolfe, so I'm excited to try him out. I don't have Book of the New Sun, I think it is, but I know that that's one I really need to pick up at some point in time. Let's see, we got Christ, Old Student in a New School from Ray Bradbury. That's exciting. There's a Bradbury in here. When It Changed by Joanna Russ. Big Space Fuck by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. There you go. In the Barn by Piers Anthony. I think that's one that I've heard is a really good one. So there's not really anything on the back here. So few men know the science fiction scene as well as Harlan Ellison, who has won more science fiction awards than any other author. Again, Dangerous Visions. Something here to expand everyone's consciousness. And so we have, again, Dangerous Visions 2. So again, let's just take a quick browsing on what's in here. Well, we have Zero G from Ben Bova. Getting Along from James Blish. Lamia Immutable from M. John Harrison. Okay. Milk of Paradise from James Tiptree Jr. Ozymandias from Terry Carr. And a lot of other authors that I don't really recognize. So, we'll see. At some point in time, I'd like to this year get back to the Again Dangerous Visions. See if I can't knock both of these out. I'm not too optimistic. So next is a book that I'm sure if I took a vote based on books that are on my shelf, on series I should start, this right here would probably get a lot of votes. I know my friend Joanna would tell me, yes, read this right now. This is my only Malazan Book of the Fallen book that I own. And I picked it up in order to try it because so many people were just raving about it. So I should try to get to this. But I've got so many other series that I need to try to finish. And that's the struggle. Do I want to start something new? When I have others I need to finish that I have everything on the shelf for. Or more on the shelf for. Anyway, here we go. The Malazan Empire simmers with discontent, bled dry by interminable warfare, bitter infighting, and bloody confrontations. Even the Imperial legions, long inured to the bloodshed, yearn for some respite. Yet Empress Lassine's rule remains absolute, enforced by her dread claw assassins. For Sergeant Whiskey Jack and his squad of bridge burners and Tattersail, surviving cadre mage of the 2nd Legion, the aftermath of the Siege of Pale should have been a time to mourn the many dead. But Darushistan, last of the free cities of Genebakis, yet holds out. It is to this ancient citadel that Lassine turns her predatory gaze. However, it would appear that the Empire is not alone in this great game. Sinister, shadow-bound forces are gathering as the gods themselves prepare to play their hand. And it even says, conceived and written on a panoramic scale. Gardens of the Moon is an epic fantasy of the highest order, an enthralling adventure by an outstanding new voice. No longer a new voice. So, yeah, I know you don't even need to tell me. But go ahead and tell me. I should try to prioritize that. So we move on here to Ralph Milne Farley and his book, The Radio Planet. So here we finally encounter one that could be a stay or could be a go. Because those first 4 are definitely staying till I read them. When Miles Cabot, inventor of the radio transmission of matter, returned to Venus, he found himself alone on an unknown continent on that alien planet. To get back to his old headquarters and his loved ones presented some apparently impossible problems. He'd have to settle a war between the near-primitive natives and an unholy alliance of monsters and dinosaurs and giant insects. He'd have to build an electronic device from raw rocks and untapped resources. And if he could succeed in all that, he'd still have to find his way home and fight off usurpers and diabolic conspiracy. But Miles Cabot didn't know the meaning of the word impossible. Something tells me this is probably one that Michael K. Vaughan sent me. So Michael, if you're watching, let me know. Because if you send it to me, I'm keeping it, and I'm going to read it. If you didn't send it to me, it's probably going to go. Because I think I'd read it. I think I could enjoy it. But like some of the others that are borderline, I've got so many books I want to read. I don't know when I'm going to ever pick that one up. Next we have Dayworld Rebel by Philip Jose Farmer. So this is the sequel to Dayworld, which I read and absolutely loved. I read it with Scott Danielson, who's a good friend of mine off BookTube, who's no longer on BookTube. His voice is dearly missed, but we can still catch him in podcast form. And so I picked up the sequel to this. Since the sequel, I'm not going to read anything off the back. But I can strongly, strongly recommend Dayworld by Philip Jose Farmer. And this is one of those books, so instead of Gardens of the Moon, I should be reading this next. I think there's one more book in the Dayworld series. course, it doesn't list it in here. But I think there's a third book, and I would need to get that as well. But we have another Philip Jose Farmer. To Your Scattered Bodies Go. It is a Hugo Award winner for the best science fiction novel of the year. Which you would think. Oh, so this is a novel of Riverworld. I haven't read anything Riverworld. If this is not the right place to start, please let me know. But Farmer's story in Dangerous Visions was, I think, my least favorite story in there. So I've had one smashing success with Dayworld and one huge disappointment with Riders of the Purple Wage. So I'm curious to see how this would go. Back of this is pretty beat up, so I'm not even going to try to read the back of it. Instead, we move on to Siege of Earth by John Fawcett. The Warmongers, led by famous commander Dave Barclay, a graying patriarch who loved peace more than anyone in the universe, but who was compelled to guide Earth's armies against attack. Earthmen buried themselves in subterranean caves, answered mighty Sparta's war bombs with warcraft. But when the bombs stopped falling, Dane Barclay quailed, for Sparta was using a far more potentially destructive play. Earth was under siege. That sounds pretty good. But this is a second in a science fiction adventure series. The Peacemakers. Now that I'm seeing that. It's short. I don't know if I need to read book 2 or book 1 before I read this one. If somebody out there knows more, let me know. This one does sound good. So I'm going to keep that. And it's a skinny little thing. This one is not. And I have a feeling this one's going to go. But I want your input on this. So this is a book 2 in a series. It's by Raymond Feist, Rise of a Merchant Prince. So it's book 2 in the Serpent War saga. Let me know. Should I seek out book 1? In other words, should I put it on a wish list in the off chance that somebody might pick it up for me or start asking for it? It gets closer to a birthday and dropping hints that I'd like this. Or should I just pass on it and say, you know what, maybe I'll get around to it another time, and at that point in time, I'll pick it up. That's probably where I'm going to go with this. I'm probably going to pull it off my shelf for now. But if I get people telling me that this is worth reading as a series, I'll probably pull it back out and put it on the shelf and see if I can't track down book 1 at least. And then we leave off with one that's destined to stay at least until I read it. This is The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. The all-time science fiction sensation. Any body would do. The people in Santa Mira didn't feel any different when it happened. In fact, they didn't feel at all. One by one, they were being transformed into men and women totally devoid of human emotion. Men and women who looked like themselves, acted like themselves, but were not themselves. There was no comprehending the steadily increasing horror. It went beyond the scope of the human experience, and there seemed no stopping it. It says right there, the most fantastic nightmare of terror and courage ever written. I mean, how could you not read that? So there we go. There's a library tour. One probably going. One maybe going. But, it's good getting through these and showing what I have at this point in time. Because I don't expect it to change anytime soon, other than going through this until June 8th, when, I, if not get a book or two, might get, a card for Amazon or something, where I can legally then pick up some books for myself that I've been wanting. So there we go. This went longer than I thought. My phone's probably just about ready to scream at me that it's dying, so I will catch you later.